It was supposed to be an ordinary day. A quiet street, unremarkable homes, the kind of neighborhood where the loudest sound was a lawnmower or a barking dog. Nobody watching from the outside could have predicted what was happening behind closed doors. These weren't hardened criminals plotting their next move. They weren't adults driven by greed or revenge. These were children, kids who, on the surface, looked no different from your own siblings, your neighbors, your classmates. Yet, in the shadow of their seemingly normal lives, something was happening that would shock the world and ignite a firestorm of outrage online. The kind of crime that stops you in your tracks, that makes you question everything you thought you knew about innocence, responsibility, and evil. This is the story of kids whose actions left communities reeling, investigators scrambling, and the internet buzzing with questions. How could this happen? What led them to this? And most chilling of all, what were they thinking in those final moments before crossing a line that could never be uncrossed? Prepare yourself for the unsettling details, the unexpected twists, and the lingering questions that have haunted everyone touched by these cases. In today's video, we take you on a journey through some of the most shocking stories the internet has ever seen. These aren't the tales of seasoned criminals or infamous masterminds, but of children. Kids who, through acts of violence or deception, crossed boundaries that forever changed the lives of their victims, their families, and even themselves. These are the stories that make us question everything we believe about childhood innocence and the potential for darkness in the unlikeliest of places. Stories that shattered families, captivated investigators, and left online communities grappling with disbelief. But most importantly, they are stories that demand we confront uncomfortable truths about human nature. Stay with us as we unravel the disturbing details behind these unforgettable cases. By the end of this video, you won't just know the facts, you'll see the world a little differently. Let's begin. Our story begins with three seemingly ordinary children, each living vastly different lives but connected by their eventual notoriety. Emma was 13 years old, bright, bubbly, and seemingly well-adjusted. Known for her sharp wit, she had a significant online following among her peers. But beneath the surface, Emma harbored a darker side, one that would reveal itself in a way that no one could have foreseen. Then, there were Jason and Matthew, two childhood friends inseparable since kindergarten. Both came from stable, loving families and were often described as the boys next door. Yet, their bond masked a shared obsession with true crime stories, one they would later act upon with terrifying consequences. Finally, we meet Liam, a 16-year-old straight-A student who excelled in computer programming. Teachers praised his genius, and peers envied his effortless charm. But Liam's talents would soon take a dark turn, creating a scam empire that preyed on the vulnerable. Emma's online persona wasn't what it seemed. Using social media, she created a secret group where she encouraged cyberbullying. Her words, seemingly harmless at first, escalated to coordinated harassment. Then one day, the unthinkable happened, a victim took their own life. The aftermath would shake her community to its core. Jason and Matthew took their fascination with crime stories to the next level. They meticulously planned what they called their perfect crime, an act so brutal it defied comprehension. On a quiet summer evening, they lured an unsuspecting neighbor into the woods, and what followed would haunt everyone who knew them. Liam's rise to infamy began with a single online scam, a harmless joke, or so he thought. But success fueled his ambition, and soon he was running a sophisticated operation, stealing millions from unsuspecting victims. What started as a game turned into a criminal empire, complete with fake identities and offshore accounts. Investigators had their work cut out for them. Each case presented unique challenges, from decoding encrypted messages to untangling webs of lies. Law enforcement traced Emma's involvement through social media metadata, uncovering her hidden online activity. It wasn't until they found the deleted group chats that the full extent of Emma's influence became clear. Jason and Matthew's crime scene was a puzzle of conflicting evidence until a misplaced item led detectives straight to them. A single clue, a forgotten notebook, revealed their plans in chilling detail. Digital forensics played a crucial role in exposing Liam's operation. Investigators uncovered hidden servers, fake accounts, and a complex network of transactions. But Liam's biggest mistake? A slip-up that left a digital fingerprint impossible to erase. Just when investigators thought they had everything, a deeper dive into Emma's life revealed she wasn't the ringleader. Someone else was pulling the strings, and the real culprit would shock everyone. The trial revealed that Jason and Matthew had kept trophies from their crime. Disturbing reminders of what they'd done. But it was their chilling courtroom confession that left everyone speechless. Liam's downfall wasn't from the authorities, it was an insider who turned against him, leading to an unexpected betrayal that unraveled his empire overnight. Just when investigators thought Emma was the sole mastermind behind the cyberbullying ring, an unsettling discovery turned the case on its head. Investigators noticed inconsistencies in Emma's private chats. While she led most conversations, certain messages hinted at someone else giving orders, a voice Emma seemed to defer to. A closer look into the digital records revealed a shocking twist: the true ringleader was none other than Emma's older cousin, Claire, a college freshman majoring in psychology. Claire had been a confidant to Emma, often helping her craft her online persona. Investigators uncovered chat logs where Claire encouraged Emma to target specific classmates, even providing the language for some of the cruelest messages. But why? What would drive Claire to manipulate a 13-year-old into such destructive behavior? Claire, once a star student herself, had struggled in college and felt overshadowed by her younger cousin's growing popularity. Jealousy was the seed that blossomed into a plan. Claire saw Emma as a puppet. Someone she could control to lash out at the world in ways she couldn't herself. Investigators confronted Claire with the evidence, and her response was chilling. "I wasn't the one typing the messages. I just gave her ideas. Emma did it because she wanted to." Claire's manipulation extended beyond Emma. She had convinced Emma's closest friends to participate, ensuring Emma bore the brunt of the blame if things unraveled. Emma's trial took a dramatic turn as her defense team presented the evidence of Claire's influence. While Emma was still held accountable, Claire faced charges of incitement and emotional abuse. In the end, the courtroom wasn't just a place of justice, it became a stage for the unraveling of a family's darkest secrets. Judgment for Claire. Given Claire's role as the true mastermind and her age as an adult, a college freshman, the court viewed her actions as deliberate, calculated, and highly manipulative. Here's how the judgment unfolded. Charges against Claire: incitement to harassment, emotional abuse of a minor, conspiracy to commit cyberbullying, which led to tragic consequences, potential negligence causing harm, depending on the victim's fate. Court's perspective. Claire's defense argued that she didn't physically carry out the acts and that Emma acted independently. The prosecution countered by emphasizing her psychological influence and coercion. Claire was found guilty on multiple counts. Sentence: 5 years in prison, reduced to 3 years with the possibility of parole. Considering her lack of prior criminal history, the court ordered Claire to undergo psychological therapy for her manipulative tendencies. A requirement to work in programs raising awareness about the dangers of cyberbullying. Judgment for Emma. Emma's judgment was more complex due to her age, 13 years old, and her level of involvement. Charges against Emma. Direct involvement in cyberbullying that led to harm. Complicity in harassment. Emma was portrayed as both a perpetrator and a victim. Her defense team successfully demonstrated Claire's overwhelming psychological influence. The court acknowledged Emma's young age and impressionability. Emma was deemed guilty of participating in cyberbullying but received leniency due to her age and manipulation by Claire. Sentence: no prison time. Court mandated rehabilitation in a juvenile program focused on empathy, digital ethics, and emotional resilience. Therapy sessions with licensed counselors to address the trauma and guilt of her involvement. Social media restrictions for a minimum of 2 years to prevent future incidents. For Claire, the sentence served as a warning for others about the severe consequences of manipulating minors for harmful purposes. Claire's reputation in the community and family was irreparably damaged. For Emma, the court's focus was on rehabilitation rather than punishment, ensuring Emma had a chance to rebuild her life. However, the stigma of the case and her role in the tragedy followed her for years, affecting her school and social life. The dual sentences reflect a balance of justice and compassion, addressing the complexity of the relationship between the manipulator and the manipulated. Jason and Matthew's case. Jason and Matthew's actions were horrifyingly premeditated and carried out with chilling precision. Their case was unique due to their ages, 16 and 17, and the severity of their crime, which led to public outrage and a national debate about the treatment of juveniles in the legal system. Charges against Jason and Matthew: first-degree murder, aggravated assault with intent to cause serious harm, conspiracy to commit a violent crime, use of deadly weapons in the commission of a felony. Prosecution's argument: the crime was meticulously planned, showing clear intent and a lack of remorse. Their age should not shield them from accountability, as their actions were indistinguishable from those of adults. Defense's argument: their immaturity and undeveloped sense of consequences played a significant role. Environmental factors, such as abusive or neglectful upbringings, may have influenced their actions. Court's deliberation: given the violent nature of their crime, the court decided to try both Jason and Matthew as adults. The judge acknowledged their age but emphasized the need for justice for the victims and their families. Verdict and sentence: Jason, found guilty on all charges. Sentence: life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 25 years. The parole option reflected a faint hope for rehabilitation due to his age. Matthew, found guilty on all charges but was considered marginally less culpable due to evidence showing Jason as the dominant planner. Sentence: 25 years in prison with eligibility for parole after 20 years. Both were ordered to participate in intensive psychological therapy while incarcerated. Their case was cited in debates over juvenile sentencing reform, prompting calls for more nuanced laws. The sentence was a stark reminder of the consequences of their actions. Both faced life-altering separation from society. Scrutiny further isolated their families, who faced judgment and the case led to heated discussions about whether juveniles should face adult consequences for heinous crimes. Advocacy groups used the case to call for greater investment in youth mental health and violence prevention programs. Liam's story stood out for its complexity and the audacity of his actions. As a 16-year-old high school student, he built an elaborate scam operation that duped victims out of millions. His intelligence and technical skills sparked debates about whether he was a genius or a dangerous manipulator. Charges against Liam: fraud and embezzlement, money laundering, unauthorized access to computer systems, hacking, identity theft. Prosecution's argument: Liam's operation showed extraordinary planning and disregard for the financial ruin inflicted on his victims. His age should not exempt him from accountability for the scale of his crimes. Defense's argument: Liam was a misguided teenager seeking validation through his intelligence. His crimes stemmed from poor parental supervision and a lack of understanding of the real-world consequences. Court's deliberation. The judge considered Liam's age, intelligence, and potential for rehabilitation. However, the scale of his crime and its impact on the victims could not be ignored. Verdict and sentence. Liam. Found guilty on all charges. Sentence. 10 years in a juvenile detention facility, with the possibility of early release after 5 years for good behavior. Ordered to forfeit all assets gained from his scam operation, which were used to compensate victims. Mandatory enrollment in a rehabilitation program focused on ethics and responsible use of technology. Psychological counseling to address any manipulative tendencies. A lifetime ban from any activities involving financial transactions or unsupervised internet use without oversight. While his sentence was lighter than that of an adult, the court sought to balance accountability with an opportunity for rehabilitation. The media labeled him a prodigy gone wrong, adding further scrutiny to his life after release. Liam's case became a cautionary tale about the power of young minds in the digital age. It spurred discussions on ethical hacking, cybersecurity, and the responsibility of parents and educators to guide tech-savvy youth. Imagine being a parent watching your child's name in the headlines for something like this. What would you do? Should someone so young bear the full weight of their actions? Or should society take some of the blame? What do you think drove these kids to make such decisions? Let me know in the comments. If this story leaves you shocked, hit that like button. It helps us share these important cases. These stories serve as a haunting reminder that even those we perceive as innocent, children and teenagers, are capable of acts that challenge our deepest beliefs about morality and human nature. But they also force us to confront difficult questions. What role do upbringing, environment, and society play in shaping these actions? And could these tragedies have been prevented? Jason and Matthew's case ignited debates about whether juveniles should face the same consequences as adults. Liam's story exposed the alarming possibilities of technological misuse by young minds. And Emma and Claire's dark web of manipulation highlighted the catastrophic impact of unchecked bullying and peer pressure. We must ask ourselves how we, as a society, can better understand and address the factors that lead young people down these dark paths. Could more robust mental health resources, parental guidance, or school intervention have made a difference? If you found these cases as thought-provoking as we did, let's continue the conversation. What are your thoughts? Do you believe the punishments were just? Could society have intervened earlier? Share your perspective in the comments below. For more untold crime stories that challenge what we think we know, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next.